Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's show and hope you enjoyed tomorrow's show and today's. We're just glad to be here. Our weather is always brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning here in Southport. Drew Pollard and the crew up there are working hard to make your life more comfortable. We're looking at a high today, 76, low 65, and our pier temperature, right at the end of the pier, is 67 degrees. So it did drop down a little bit with the cool weather and a lot of wind we've had. The river readings brought to us by Mountain Dew. On the outdoors with Mountain Dew. We're looking at Apalachicola, Bluntstown, 15.5. It's still high, folks, and it has been high for a week or so. The Choctaw Carabelle, 9.5, and it may start going down just a little bit. I think it will now. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tides today. We have a 4:30 this morning. It's going to be the low tide, and tonight at 7:05 coming in strong. Next couple of days will be really good tides. Weekend will be sort of neap tides, but right now it's looking good. And I want to say the wind direction, again, it continues in double digits. South-southeast at 14 today. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. You know, last week was April, and April 1st was last week, and generally a lot of people do April Fool's jokes, and we've always done them a little bit, and it's always been fun and nothing, bad or anything. But I try to pick out a joke of the year, and I think I'm gonna give it to my daughter Wendy, as a school teacher up there in Dixon, Tennessee, a small school up there west of Franklin, Tennessee. She drives about an hour to work every day, but it's a little country school, and she loves her kids, teaching sixth graders. They'd had a lot of rain up there the previous week, and they had like 11 inches in a day, and they just had a bunch of rain. So what Wendy and a couple of other teachers got together, and they decided to do, they were going to tell the students they're having a flood drill. So looking at the pictures here, she told the kids, and the kids love, of course, they love her, but she said, okay, we got to just practice this in case we start getting water. It's going to be a flood drill like we have a fire drill. She told all the kids to take off your shoes and socks and put everything on the floor, and then you stand up there on your chair, on your desk, and just practice a flood drill in case it floods. And that was their April Fool's joke, and all the teachers did it, went in the group of her building there, and they just had a ball doing it. So that was the April Fool's joke of the year. So anyway, let's move on to some outdoor stuff. How about Trevor Benton and Tommy Crockett Kelly? Got them a pair here. They tagged out. Good job, guys. Those are two good hunters right there. Kenneth Hall, now you can identify where this is. This is down in St. Andrew. That's the towers back behind him. He caught it off the marina, the St. Andrews Marina. A nice redfish right there. Good job, Kenneth Hall. This is interesting. Hey, Winston, my name is Michael Kennedy. I really enjoy your show in the morning. I have a house at Ball Point in Franklin County where I found this snake skin in the yard. I do not know what kind of snake it is, but I know that it was big. The skin is laying on the table in front of my grandfather's picture, who was a basketball coach for FSU back in the 60s. I have not seen the owner of the skin lately, but I hope it left the yard. Let's look at the snake skin first. I'm going to blow it up. Folks, that is a big snake skin. That's 5 to 6 feet long. Look how, and that is whole. Remember I told y'all to send me a picture if you had a whole one? From the head to the tail is a whole snake skin. And that's at Ball Point down there in Franklin County. But I sent Michael an email back and asked him, I remember his granddad being a coach. And here I said, send a better picture. This is Coach Kennedy, FSU's really second basketball coach, his first men's basketball coach. He started coaching at FSU in 1949 to 1966. As a kid, folks, at my first college basketball games, I went over there and watched FSU play, and he was a coach. And that's a good picture. Coach Kennedy, that's a long run right there. And when he passed away, Hugh Durham came in to coach, who later on went to the University of Georgia. So I love those basketball coaches. All right, moving on. Thank you, Michael, for sending that. Let's jump over to Lake Talquin. Now, Derek Gibson, I've told Derek to give me some, he fishes over there a lot, has a place over there to send me some Lake Talquin reports, and he sent this one. He found, now this is interesting now, pay attention to the moon. He found no beds this full moon, but did manage a few good eating fish. Looks like a cold Easter snap, and when that cold Easter snap, it may have pushed them back. So in other words, they're not going to bed yet till this cold weather gets out of here. Even female specks were still carrying eggs. So that means they just haven't done it yet over Lake Talquin. Hope April brings some calmer days and wind has been something else. Amen on that, Derek. Derek Gibson, Lake Talquin. You see what a nice mess of fish right there. You got catfish, crappie, and some nice bluegill. And that old cast iron sink under it. I know the old timers recognize that. That's the original fish cleaning sink in the Florida Panhandle, those little cast iron sinks underneath that board there. Okay. Now, how about another turkey? Ronald Matthews, he hunts hard up there. From Lynn Haven, he hunts hard up there at Bear Creek Hunt Club. They deer hunt and turkey hunt, and Ronald got him a nice one. Good job, Ronald Matthews. Tom Gurley sent, this is one of my favorite Tom Gurley pictures. To get it, the timing on it is just excellent. Look at that picture right there. This is over in the state park, St. Andrews State Park, and look at the coat now. The deer really bright and brown. The brown color. That's new, just a new growth right there. And the birds is really nice. Okay, over here in Bluntstown, Ashley Copeland and Chad Copeland. In this top picture, she said, any day on the water with this guy makes for a good day. And that's a husband and wife fishing, and look at that mess of catfish right there. That's the same picture. When you get them clean and put them in the freezing bags right there to put them in the freezer. Catfish fillets, and that is fine. Ashley Copeland. Okay, Laura Cowart Bush shared this. Whatever it takes, I'm going fishing. I put this in. Now, don't try this at home. I put this in because you get this kind of feeling in the springtime about wanting to go fishing really bad. And I understand that, so thank you, Laura Cowart Bush. This is an old, what I call a Florida photo memory, and we show them every now and then. This is, I love to show the presidents. This is Franklin Roosevelt on his houseboat in the Florida Keys, and it's a 7-foot-long, 500-pound fish. What that is a Goliath grouper, but this is his son with him, Elliot. And I was thinking, I wish we haven't had any fishing presidents in a while. I wish all our presidents are part of the thing. I wish they would all fish. I think last one I saw was President Bush fishing down in the Keys, and I think that's just always good to see that. Now, Danny Shores, he runs Florida Panhandle Hunters. They finally figured out what was the biggest buck taken this past hunting season. And lo and behold, there's a young lady here. Look at this big buck. All right, this first place, this is a youth, big buck, goes to Ava Bigham with a monster. She got a free shoulder mount, and she also got a Ruger rifle. And I'm going to show you, here's a picture of her. Great picture there. And then here's a scorecard, how you do the scores. And she scored 152 and 5/8. And this same scorecard, the Florida Buck Register, everybody uses the same scorecard, and you measure the length of the horns and everything. So that's how they do it there. Okay, now one or two. Okay, let's see. That's gonna wrap up our pictures. Now I want to say a special good morning to my cousin and his wife, Jimmy and Jane Chester, up there in Brevard, North Carolina. I want to say a special good morning. They watch our show every morning on YouTube, and they look forward to it. Jimmy roots are here, and he and Jane went to school over in Jacksonville. They were high school sweethearts and been married their whole life, basically. So I just love my cousins, Jimmy and Jane Chester. Good morning. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. First I want to mention, I saw last week where in Franklin County down there, they're asking for contributions or donations or either just loan any kind of historical artifact because they're putting in a maritime museum in Franklin County. And I just think that is something really cool. and I want to compliment them on it. And I know a lot of families, when you're going through stuff and everything, you find this old thing here, you don't think it's any good. Well, that little old thing there might have gone on a boat, and it might be so important to the maritime history of your county. So Franklin County, I don't know who to contact down there. I saw it, but I would start with just call the Chamber of Commerce. And any kind of little fishing artifact, and you don't have to give it to them, you can loan it. You say, this is a collection of so-and-so, you know, and people do a lot of that. So your family still owns it, but, you know, they store it for you, and people get to share it. And I got to thinking, you've got Franklin County doing that, then you got the Destin Fishing Museum that's been there. They were the first ones, been there a long time, and I love the Destin Fishing Museum. I think I want to go back over there pretty soon. I haven't been there 4 or 5 years. I've been there a couple of times, but my hat's off to the Walter and Okaloosa County area for the Destin history they've saved, and they had a lot of foresight and vision, because they won't be able to buy that property now where it's at. And then I started thinking about, here we are in Bay County, and the ground zero, I've said it over and over again, Parker's good. Parker had a strong history. West Bay had a strong history, but sort of all centered around St. Andrew. And a lot of things came out of St. Andrew. I've always talked about having a maritime museum in St. Andrew. They do an excellent job with the printing part of our history and all. The group of people do an excellent job with that, but we just need, and I'm afraid we may have waited too late. I tell you, Grover Davis was really, he and I talked about it, and we didn't get it in detail. We just laid it out and all, and he had a place to do it, and he's passed on now, and it's not everybody's jumped on board to do that, but it's what a, St. Andrew has had more fish come through it than Destin and Franklin. I'm not bragging, or any other counties in the Panhandle other than Pensacola. And now also Gulf County, they had the Rathfield. Danny Rathfield has a start right there at his place. Danny has a good start on a lot of history of his family and the different ones there, and they've got a rich maritime history. So it'll be great to preserve that. My hat's off to Franklin County. Okay, now I want to move on. Also, got a call the other day. Some of our viewers are looking for a Red Holland Brim Buster. You know, remember the original Red Holland Brim Buster? I've had some pictures of people catching some fish recently with Red Holland Brim Busters, and people want to find some. I don't know. I was talking to them. I said my best guess would be some of these tackle stores around here. These small tackle stores in the Florida Panhandle, up in South Alabama, and see if they have any left over. And this person said he's been to several tackle stores. So if you know anybody has any Red Holland Brim Busters, let me know, and I'll pass it on to our viewers and all, because they were some of the original ones. Okay. Now we talked last week. I talked about Matt Smith. I called him. He was up there in north central Alabama, on the eastern side there in the lease, and he was actually looking for sheds and deer sign. And he got me thinking, this is a great time of year to do it. And I was so tickled. He was up there by himself. I called him on a Sunday afternoon, and that's where he was. So anyway, I wanted to encourage you to do something like that. If you get out in the woods and look around, and first of all, be aware the snakes are out there too. So wear your snake boots. This time of year, I don't go out there without my snake boots on, out in the woods and all. In fact, I got 2 pairs of snake boots now. Santa Claus brought me one. But anyway, it's different tips and all. Look some different tips up and things you can do on making the next year's hunt a lot more successful by just doing some things right now, plus just the enjoyment and love of getting outdoors. And of course, number one, we'll go through a couple of them now and then take a break. Number one, we were talking about taking down your tree stands. I know y'all have done that. And some people are bad about leaving them up. You don't want to leave up any kind of tree stand or ladder stand or anything like that. You don't want to leave it up and just jump in it next year. You need to take it down. Now I'm talking about the climbing stands now, not the big box stands. The climbing stands and the ladder stands. And in fact, a buddy left his up there on my property. I won't call that his name, but Perry Brown was close to it name. I let him hunt on my property. He left his stand up there for a couple of years, and you know what happens? The tree actually grows around it. So right now, every time I go by, I laugh. I call Perry and tell him that he still gets his tree stand out, but it grows into the tree grows around it. So that's going to happen. Okay, so be aware of that. So take it down and clean it up and make sure it's sturdy. And that's the first one. Let me go and take a break, and we'll come back and finish these up. So I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers. Today we're looking at 8:42 to 10:42, a good time tonight, 9:06 to 11:06. I've got this notice from Ronnie Groom. He called me the other day, and I'm gonna read it to you, okay? And this is very, very excited about this. C&G Sporting Goods buys new and used guns, one gun or a whole collection of guns. C&G also buys ammunition in good condition. Bring in unloaded guns, and let them give you a price. Old or new, rifles, shotguns, handguns, anything in good shooting condition, that will make you a good price. He's got a big push on now to really get their inventory down low. He really needs to get it back up. If you want to sell your gun to some reputable folks, and we have a bunch of them around here, reputable dealers and all, C&G would be one of them. I want to really recommend doing that. So I'm going to talk about that for the next 2 weeks, okay? Let's take a look at, well, let's finish these pictures. I'm gonna try to go through them pretty fast because what I'm doing, I'm running out of time, and I want to get this, make sure we get them in. Okay, I'm gonna move on. One of the things says improve the land. Okay, we talk about that all the time. Improve the land. Make sure you got food for them. Okay, move on along. Learn the land. If you don't know your land, you got to learn it, and that's a learning curve. A lot of us that have the same land for a while pretty well know it, but it changed when Hurricane Michael came in. Our land changed. So learn the land. Another one, make sure you know where the bedding areas are, the food sources, the water holes, because that pattern, those deer keep up those patterns. So look for the tracks now. Number 7, postseason scouting for deer sign. This is what Matt was doing. Look for last year's rubs and scrapes. Look for the high pressure areas, especially if you're close to public land, that's high pressure areas there, so be aware of those. Also, take your trail camera out now and do a survey with trail camera. Another one, study last year, and I might not do this one, study last year's trail cameras. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, another one, refresh your mineral sites. Make sure you get the minerals in the ground and let them eat it and all. And prepare for spring planting. A lot of y'all already, I know Benny Forehand's already got his in the ground. A lot of y'all are doing that. And this next one right here, number 13, go shed hunting. And that's the most fun part of all these to me. Looking for last year's sheds where to shed those horns. And then if you want to find some new places, that's good. And also practice archery, practice your shooting skills. And the last one, just reflect on the season there and set new goals, those kind of things. I sort of rushed through those, but basically you get the idea of what these really good deer hunters do in the off season. Those tips right there, they would do that. And Steve Shea, and I'm going to use him as an example. That's some of the things he will do, and he will talk about those kind of things. Okay, now let's jump into fishing. I'll go from hunting back into fishing. We've had a bunch of tournaments. I started looking last night. I was trying to put all these tournaments together because so many of them coming up. So I've got about 5. Let's go over these tournaments coming up soon, okay? This first one over at Howard Creek. This is May 29th. We're still about 6 weeks away, but this is the annual brim fishing tournament and fish fry by the Shad-Eye director staff at Howard Creek Upper Landing. That's going to be a big tournament. It's going to be a fun tournament. You don't have to fish it, but you go there that afternoon, it is a fish fry. And you think those fish are going to be fresh at the fish fry? They won't be coming in from New York City. Okay, next one right here. The saltwater tournament, this is going to be way in June. I'll talk more about that. The saltwater slam. It's going to be down around Stenhatchee, I believe. All right, then this weekend, this is right around the corner, a couple of days now, the North Florida Redfish Series, April 10th. It'll be at Port St. Joe. Okay, so, and then the next one. We talked about this with Michael Harris, the Southeastern Dog Hunter Association. That's coming up. That's a bass fishing tournament over in Milton, and that's coming up May 1st. And then the South Walton Kids Tournament, that will be coming up. Let me see, what's the date on that? Soon. Sunday, April 18th, so that's only 2 weeks away. That's a Sunday tournament. And that's going to be at Grayton Beach, the Kids Fishing Tournament. How about one more? How about a surf fishing tournament, April 23rd to 24th, over here at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle. They're putting it on, run by Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, whiting, pompano, redfish, and they'll take that cumulative total of what you catch. And that's a good tournament. I'm going to try to run out there to Bay Breeze and get a rundown of more rules. It starts down at some St. George Island or is it Cape San Blas? I'll have to look and see. Anyway, it's 3 weights and all. Okay, now, just some observations I want to pass on to you. The last couple of days, just looking around, maybe out in the bay, I saw some mullet jumping. It's the first mullet I've seen jumping this year. Now, I'm not saying it's the first one doing it, it's the first ones I've seen. And it was actually Easter because I had the family around. We were just sort of sitting around looking outside, and when a mullet jumping, I mean, the first thing strikes you, look at that skinny mullet that's jumping up, because we've talked about it before how skinny they are. And the old timers would call them reruns because they've been out in the Gulf, they're spawning, and now they've worked their way back in. They're back in the bay, but they just haven't had enough food to eat to fatten up. And it's just fascinating every year to watch how these mullet will do that, because they just slowly get a little bit healthier and stronger, and then that same mullet and this summer be jumping up. He won't be jumping up quite as high because he's going to be heavier, and when it hits the water, it makes a bigger splash. I've noticed those things over the years watching the mullet. I get a kick out of them. And also, I was watching a pelican dive yesterday. There were some bait fish in North Bay yesterday. They were just out sort of in front of my house. And I watched them well over an hour off and on. I'd see them still out there, and I knew what was going on. And lo and behold, guess what happened? Two big old jet skis come up there, and pelicans fly off, and they're gone. About 45 minutes later, the pelicans came back, but they couldn't find the bait fish. So that's just one of the things that we as outdoorsmen have to put up with. But I guess it was Sunday afternoon of Easter. But when those bait fish get in the air, they will stay. They don't just boom out of the way real quick unless something scares them. Now, a lot of times, these jet skis or boats coming by real fast will scare them. I've got to wrap it up. Thank you all so much. Again, we've got a lot of stuff coming up this week. I'm going to have some guests coming in for the next couple of days, and we're going to be on the road. So y'all be sure and do some good things for your fellow man. Enjoy our great outdoors, and talk to our sponsors, and trade with them. You have a great day. Do something good, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.